The Prime Minister appears to be linking Uniform Civil Code with the condition, he says, of Muslim women, especially backward caste Muslims. This is a Prime Minister who doesn't say a word when it comes to Bilkis Bano. In fact, the Gujarat government is accused of giving remission to her convicts. Then we don't hear the Prime Minister weeping for Muslim women. But now suddenly, 1 year to go for elections, you're in Madhya Pradesh, a poll-bound state, you're raising this to start trigger off a national debate. Is this to trigger off a national debate? Or is this a pure election ploy, as his critics are claiming?
Rajdeep, you know, I'm appalled that you have brought Bilkis Bano into this. The moment you mention Bilkis Bano, I would like to remind you, Rajdeep Sardesai, that you are the same person who has not said a word in the recent past about how Rahul Gandhi's esteemed father, Rajiv Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, overturned a historic judgment in 1985 pertaining to the Shah Bano case. And what did Rajiv Gandhi do? He brought in the Muslim Divorce Protection Act of 1986.
It was wrong. I said it. You know, Sanju Verma, you're not, you are, you know, I was doing, Sanju Verma, we have all criticized the Shah Bano, we have all criticized Rajiv Gandhi on Shah Bano.
Stop talking over me.
No, you must correct yourself. You must correct yourself. I have very clearly criticized on more than one occasion in editorial comment the Prime Minister's stand on Shah Bano. Now go ahead.
Now let me tell you one thing.
Yes.
You keep tweeting about everything that is anti-government. You know, you have spoken about the Manipur files, and I will bring Manipur because you brought in Bilkis Bano. Rajdeep Sardesai becomes like the three monkeys, deaf, dumb and mute when it comes to the Bengal files, where people are being butchered day in and day out, especially BJP karyakartas. The Kolkata High Court and Supreme Court have come down heavily on Mamata Banerjee, saying law and order has taken a flying leap out of the window. Has Rajdeep Sardesai spoken even
Can we come back to Uniform Civil Code? Can we come back to Uniform Civil Code? What's your view? A simple question. Flavia Agnes says it's a political ploy. Most of us believe it's an idea whose time has come. Now you tell us.
Do not heckle. You are not the panelist, you are the anchor. Behave like an anchor. Thank you. Let me tell you, Rajdeep, that the Uniform Civil Code under Article 44 of the Constitution falls under the ambit of the directive principles of state policy.
Yes.
And I'm sure Flavia Agnes and everybody else on this panel knows that directive principles of state policy have not got legal sanctity under the Constitution. That is precisely the reason that while Uniform Civil Code should have been a law, maybe yesterday you and me are still debating about it. But I want to say one very interesting thing. It was way back in 1985 for the first time when the Supreme Court and then the Chief Justice was Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, the father of the current Chief Justice, and he said this. I'm reading it out ad verbatim without adding my own full stops or commas. A common civil code will help the cause of national integration by removing disparate loyalties to law which have conflicting ideologies. The Apex Court also said that it is a matter of great regret that Article 44 has remained a dead letter, and Justice Kuldeep Singh in Sarla Mudgal versus the Union of India in 1995 said it's time to ensure that UCC becomes a law and UCC does not remain consigned to the dustbin of history. And recently, Justice Suneet Kumar of the Allahabad High Court in 2021 said that personal laws run subservient to the Constitution. And I will remind Flavia a very interesting thing. There was the famous Molly Joseph versus the George Sebastian case in 1996, where the petitioner on behalf of these two said that divorce should be granted as per the church, and the Supreme Court said that only a divorce granted to the Christian couple by the courts in India will be valid and not a divorce granted by the church, and that judgment was upheld in 2017 when Justice Kehar was the Chief Justice, and he repeated the same thing, that personal laws remain subservient to the Constitution and Uniform Civil Code should be law without further delay.